Welcome back to Meet You at Breakfast. I am Ben here with Brian and Julia to talk about episodes 4 and 5 of the Traitors US Season 4. We had two more murders and two more banishments, two more very dramatic banishments, I would say, to talk about here. We made our predictions last episode and we went over 2. I guess we can start there at the top. I didn't even think that Caroline was on the table, honestly, to get murdered. Really surprised. We talked about it a little bit last week. The idea of murdering the faithful housewives and whether it made sense. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this murder?
I mean, I see the parallel of making it be a housewife, because if it wasn't her, I feel like it would have started to strike conversation between people of like, oh, like all these housewives are still here, like no one's really talking about them, like what's going on here. So I feel like it was probably best. I feel like they were a little harsh with her when she really didn't do anything, but I mean, it is what it is. But I was more in tune with the like grilling people at breakfast, which I'm sure we'll get to. But I just, again, I think it was kind of another nothing burger murder. So I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the producers of the game are trying to figure out how do we get the faithful to have like any information to potentially make it more interesting. And they've settled on this, being murdered, but not actually murdered in the night, murdered in, what is it, face to face? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Murdered face to face, which is interesting. And I think it did give us some good moments as far as who they decided to murder. I mean, it's funny because the housewives, I feel like nobody ever suspects them. And so, like, whereas some of the gamers might be getting looked at for gamers getting taken out as a, like, oh, they're obviously killing gamers to hide the fact that one of the gamers is a traitor. I don't know if Lisa's getting that blowback, but she's definitely also losing potential allies. So it's like, what's going to happen there? And we might see that in the next episode where Colton seems like he's going to go full on against her, and maybe she's murdered a couple too many housewives at this point.
Yeah, maybe. I'm curious to see if they do end up murdering Colton this coming episode, because, that was probably the biggest kind of thoughts against Lisa, I guess. And I think that Dorinda even backing him up in being like, Dorinda kind of put the nail in the coffin a little bit with Lisa, saying kind of like, no, like she's not acting like herself at all. She's usually more explosive, which she is. Lisa Rinna is much more Lisa Rinna. So she is being a much tuned down version of herself. And I think Dorinda kind of just validated everything Colton was saying. And Colton's already catching everyone's attention. So I feel like people are paying attention to what he says. So he needs to just be gone at this point.
Yeah, well, that's kind of interesting as well, because that's why I thought that that the murder wasn't a great idea, because I think at a certain point the logic is going to start to push towards like at least one housewife as a traitor. And if that's kind of the tack that gets pushed around and you're Dorinda, and we see this by the end of episode 5, like she knows she's not a traitor. So like if she thinks one of the other housewives is, she's literally 100% guaranteed to get one right, no matter which one she picks at this point. So it's I don't know. And like Brian said, and this is kind of something that you see with like Michael not really understanding how the game works at all, where like and we see this with the Circle as well, like and Brian and I used to do coverage of the Circle back, especially those earlier seasons.
Maybe I don't think that's coming back.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in the last like 2 or 3 seasons, to be fair. So I'm not.
Netflix is coming back. I want to be on it. Let me know when I can apply.
But yeah, like in like the Circle, the idea of like hunting catfishes and like, oh, you're a catfish, therefore you're like, lying to me or whatever, like that is totally irrelevant within that balance of the show. And a lot of people get caught up into the trap of caring about this kind of surface level aspect of the game that isn't actually a part of the game. And the similar thing happened in the Traitors, where like, especially in the first half or so of the game, it's almost bad to catch Traitors, and it's more of just like a coalition alliance building, organizing votes sort of game, with like the idea that if you're a faithful, you have to like cozy up to a traitor, gain their trust so they don't murder you, and if you're a traitor, you have to kind of find gullible faithfuls that will believe that you're also a faithful to take toward the end game. But like it's still basically just like a numbers game at the end of the day, and like a social game. And taking out people who like you can just kind of intrinsically count on as votes is silly, which is why like the idea that gamers got fussed for murdering Ian and Rob first also didn't make sense, because like to me that should hard clear somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and I think we saw Sandra probably play that in the best way she could on her season, and then I assume they're doing it in the background, but they're maybe not vocalizing it as much.
Yeah, and I made a note to myself where I feel like the non-gamers are really kind of like analyzing the gamers, because like I don't think they can understand that like the gamers game and like they're strategizing, they're thinking about things, but the non-gamers I feel like this season are like very hyper analyzed on that part, where they like the gamers understand the game part. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still very much enjoying the season so far, I will say. But
no, I like it too. I think it's fun. Obviously, I was very disappointed with who got murdered, and like losing gamers. That sucks.
yeah.
But I do think there is value in like a bunch of people who are kind of maybe not playing optimally playing the game, because it makes it less predictable as a viewer. Whereas like when people are pretty tuned in to how to succeed, you can kind of be like, all right, well, they'll probably do this and that. I really don't know what's going to happen at any episode with this group.
Right. And like, I don't know, like Colton going after Tiffany and then everyone going after Michael. It's like, it feels like it's like a weird thing where I just feel like there's no consistency with the type of person that they're going after. So.
Yeah. And I mean, with Colton, especially, like, I think there is, and the Traitors by the end of episode 5, when they're in the turret, are talking about potentially murdering Colton because he's now on to Lisa. But like a player like Colton, they probably should have murdered earlier if they. I can't remember if they had the opportunity. I don't think they did with like how limited the murder pool has been. So maybe it's not really like an on them kind of thing. But like Colton and Michael are different in that like Michael was consistently loud and wrong and was like very much a distraction, but like Colton has been like loud and like relatively right so far. Like he sussed out Donna, he's now on Lisa. Like obviously he was wrong on Tiffany, but like
it's like a 50-50 toss up whether he's right or not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at the very least,
And
which is like
Michael
really
just
scary.
had to go. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
No, he wasn't even a good faithful, and that was pretty much his demise. Like people didn't even care if he was a traitor at this point because he was just making the game unbearable.
Yeah, and Rob C like hit it right on the head in like the first round table where he's like, you're too much of a distraction for us to even possibly go after any traitors. So like we got to get rid of you. And I'm honestly surprised he lasted as long as he did, because he seems insufferable.
Definitely. Yeah. And him, like, I don't know, what did you guys make of him making that under the belt comment to Colton? Do you think that he meant it in that way, or do you think Colton perceived it in that way just to throw it back at him?
I think there was no other way that it was going to be perceived. I mean, he was a guy who presented as heterosexual and then came out of the closet later, and then you're like, oh, you know how to keep a secret. How else was anyone going to take that?
Yeah.
And like, I don't like Colton for a lot of things that I've seen about him outside of the game, and like, putting trackers in people's cars and stuff.
Oh,
it's not good, but
no,
like,
he has a terrible reputation.
That's how it was going to be taken. Like,
Yeah.
And I do think that's also how he meant it, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because he's like, what did he say? He said something like, you held on to a pretty big secret for 29 years. Like you
No,
can
I think
like,
I think Colton said. I think that what the words Michael said specifically was like you would know how to keep a secret or something like
right,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, right, right.
Like, what else could
And
he have possibly meant?
Yes.
no, yeah, no. And that was shady. That was really shady. And like I don't really care for Colton, but like,
Yeah.
that was a low blow. But
It was rude, for
yeah,
sure.
it was. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like Colton's the big topic of conversation over the last episodes. He's been getting a lot of screen time. He's been making a lot of strides and like just trying to like kind of orchestrate things. In my brain, I feel like he's trying to go for the Pilot Pete arc. And they were both terrible bachelors, but they are completely different people. And like they both equally sucked on The Bachelor, but I think Pete was much better on the Traitors. So, and I feel like he can't like I that's just the vibe that I'm getting. I feel like he's really trying to go for the Pilot Pete arc, but it's just not in the cards for him.
Yeah, I do wonder how people who don't know who he is are reacting to him, because like it does seem like the show is trying to position him, like you said, in the same role as Pilot Pete, but he came off very lovable, Pete, after the Traitors. I don't know how Colton is coming off, just because my perception of him is so colored by what I've heard about him.
Yeah. Right. And Pete's like, he's not very smart, but he is a lovable guy. And I feel like that, like even after meeting him, I was like, that was a very pleasant experience. Like, like
Right.
he just is one of those people. And I like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just feel like they're trying to give Colton a redemption arc when he doesn't necessarily, one, deserve one, and two, doing the right things to kind of obtain it.
Yeah. I mean, did he ever like address that stuff?
He
Or did
pled
it just
guilty to
kinda,
everything. Yeah.
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 But did he ever like, I don't know, have a big apology, like apologize to her, try to make amends, or
Or
was
the
it kind of
ukulele
just like,
song.
No, I
what was
think
it?
Write a
he just
ukulele
pled
song.
guilty. He pled guilty and then he came out, which was pretty much the
The
they
Kevin
have
Spacey
pretty
move.
Yeah.
Obviously different,
So,
but yeah.
yeah. So yeah, he pretty much like they were together and then they broke up, everything came out, he pled guilty, and then I forget how I feel like it was around a year, within that year afterwards is when he came out.
I think when I looked into it, it was like within 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty quick. So, and he's getting a lot of backlash from a couple of the girls that were on his season too. Like, I think I sent you guys a video that Demi made, and she hates him, and I keep seeing her videos, and she's like, when people are seeing Colton for who he really is, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm trying to put the like outside the castle Colton aside, but I also just don't really think I like inside the castle Colton either. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
curious
my
to
thing with
see.
him is like he's not like playing well, but the show, it feels like it's making us try to like view him as playing well, but then also is like kind of throwing in these little things like Kristen thinks he's a traitor and is making like having all these little side conversations about it, which I don't know if that's supposed to be like us being told, oh, Colton's playing so hard that people think he's a traitor, or we're supposed to be like, oh, Kristen is completely off the ball.
I know we're being gaslit for sure, but
yeah.
I think that Kristen is smart, and I feel like she's starting to like, I don't know. I mean, I think she chose the right people to tell it to. Like she was talking to it was like a group of four. It was like Tara, Candace, and Lisa. The four of them, she was telling them like her thoughts. And I feel like that was the perfect group for her to like tell her thoughts to. Cause it's like it's great when the faithfuls accidentally tell the traitors in like crucial information that they should have. And like Candace absorbing that information. Or was it Candace or Rob? It was Rob, right? That overheard Colton talking about Lisa.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So like they're there at the right moments to absorb the right information. And I feel like that was really important. But
Yeah, I mean, also like if we're talking about like trader strategy, right? Like it's obviously very hard to do, but you really want to tell traders that you like confidently wrong information
Mhm.
while avoiding telling them like confidently right information. But like sometimes do the opposite, like what you said, like Kristen telling Candace like, hey, I feel like Colton is a traitor 100%. Like that's really good for her because now they're going to want to keep her around because she might go after Colton and like be
Right.
distracted from them. But on the flip side, you have like Dorinda and Colton later on in episode 5 getting it correct in front of Rob. But yeah, I don't know. It's the whole like Colton, like just looking at Colton as a player and putting aside him being like a piece of shit, right? Like I don't really see like the vision of what he's going for. Because I think that Pete, for instance, like had his numbers and his posse and like kind of created a scenario where he could kind of walk into an end game if he wanted, and was able to like ride those numbers up until the point where he was offered recruitment. And then in my opinion, like if he had just taken the recruitment, he would have probably had a pretty good shot of winning the season.
Yeah.
But he, declined it and then ended up, seeing the consequences of that. But I don't really see who Colton's people are that he's like rallied. Like people keep on talking about like, oh, Colton's got a bunch of sheep following him, especially after the Tiffany
no pun intended about his sheep sweater either.
Yes, maybe that's what's coloring people.
He's claiming the herd.
Yeah, so but I don't know who these sheep were. Like on season 2, like it was very clear who like Pete's pals were or whatever. Like he had like a posse of like 5 people, and they would have secret meetings and secret meetings in front of the entire cast, and everyone would be like, that is Pete's like little faithful posse.
Pete's posse, yeah.
But like I don't know who Colton supposedly has that is like such a huge threat.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was buddy with Caroline, but now she's gone. And I don't know if there's really, I mean, maybe he's trying to cling on to someone else, but I can't really, I don't know. I feel like
people think Rob is like under him, but Rob's just kind of like using him as a shield.
Yeah, like Steven maybe.
Yeah, right. Well,
we've seen very little from Steven, so we don't even know who he's loyal to or like cares about or thinks is a traitor or anything. So
yeah, he's just another. I feel like there's a lot of people that are just really flying under the radar.
Yeah.
So and a lot of them have already been murdered. So
right.
Just the easy
that's
murders.
The thing.
But
usually you expect them to get out quick when they're not positioned as big names. But we lost a few big names. Like Rob C was very much the narrator of the show at the beginning, and then he got taken out early. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Adjust to figure out
right.
the other
characters. And the traitors, none of them are gamers, so they don't have any loyalties or alliance with any of the gamers. So like usually in the past we've seen a survivor person or a big brother person in the turret, and they've kind of like kept their certain people close to their chest, and like these are Bravo and Love Island people. They don't care about Survivor. Like they're not going to like go out of their way to save someone who they think is a threat to them because they don't see it. They see it differently than the gamers. So
I mean, I think Rob is kind of doing this to a degree with people like Maura, people like Steven. It seems like I think he, like Brian was saying, he's trying to do that with Colton, but now Colton's becoming kind of too dangerous to keep around, possibly.
Yeah, he's a liability.
So I think that Rob sees that strategy. It's just that like we're not really getting the full story. It feels like a lot of the like arcs we've had so far are very like short term, where we had like this like arc with like Tiffany and Rappaport, and it like felt like that was being set up to mean something. And now like by the end of episode 5, both of them are gone. So it's like, I don't know. I don't really know what the show is trying to tell us, I guess. Like I'm trying to follow what the narrative of the show is.
That's fair. I mean, my biggest takeaway, my like top note that I had was about Alan's murder shirt. So I think I'm kind of along on the same wavelength at the moment. But I don't know. I mean, I'm still rooting for Rob the most. I think he's really got it in the bag, because the thing about Rob, and I think I said this last time too, like it's the same thing as Love Island. Like everyone is so taken aback by him, and like he's such an alluring person, and like his personality, his looks, and they're not even considering him to be a threat. I think everyone just genuinely likes to be around him. So I think he's still in a really good spot. Yeah. So
yeah, he's
I
in a
think
great spot.
staying very
I think.
consistent. So yeah.
We need, you know what? Next year, Ace from Love Island, we need him. He's playing like Love Island, like a social strategy game. He'll be a gamer in this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing though. If Rob wins, now he's kind of like, now the next Love Island people are going to pay the piper.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So,
it's actually funny. I didn't realize. So his bestie Aaron, who was on his season of Love Island with him, won the Traitors UK.
Oh wow!
Okay. And I didn't know that. And I'm like, oh, did he get coached or something ahead of time? So it would be really funny if they're like best friends. So I think it would be really funny if Rob did win and they were like winners together. So
yeah,
I didn't pick up on that until I saw a TikTok. I'm like, oh, Aaron's not on this season. Like, that's so weird. But he's British, so he was on the UK version.
Makes sense.
So
So do we think that Lisa's screwed next week, or?
I don't think so. I don't know. I was worried about Candace there for a second, but I feel like now she's kind of flying a little lower. I think Colton's really. Was he really the only person that brought up Lisa's name, or did
Dorinda did as well?
Yeah. Well, she like when she was agreeing with Colton.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but that was the only instance where her name got brought up. Okay. Yeah. Well, besides
Monet
murdered. Yes. Yeah. So, but Monet only said something to Candace, which was perfect. So yeah, I mean, I'm worried in the sense for Lisa that she isn't being Lisa Rinna. She's just being Lisa, and she needs to be more Lisa Rinna, because people are expecting her to be some type of way, which is how she is in her normal life. And I think Dorinda was right on the money with that. And I think I hope she takes that feedback and starts kind of doing it up a little bit, because that's just kind of, how she's supposed to be. So
yeah, who's been on House of Villains? Is it New York? Who's on every season?
Yeah,
it's like if New York was on House of Villains and then was just like very quiet and non-confrontational,
or on the Traitors, for instance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm surprised that New York hasn't been on the Traitors, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, she's too busy being on every season of House of Villains.
True, yeah.
Did I send you guys that Lisa Rinna compilation of all of her just like being absolute Lisa?
I think so. Yeah,
I think I did. Yeah. So that's how she is, like smashing wine glasses and like saying loop-de-doop-de stuff. Like she needs to do more of that, because people are catching on to her not being her normal self. So
yeah, she could kind of hide when there are so many people, but the more people to get rid of without getting rid of traitors, it's going to be like, okay, like she's being weird.
Yeah.
And this is like a common issue that Traitors have like throughout the history of the show, is like, they kind of are deliberately quiet because, if the faithfuls are all shooting at each other, which they usually are for the first like 4 or 5 rounds, you don't want to be the traitor who like, speaks out and then ends up getting, people starting to suss you when they were originally sussing each other.
Cody.
But then, but that also looks sus over time, where like if you're not contributing to
which is what's happening to Lisa now. Yeah. Which at least I think at first, we were a little concerned about Candace being a little too outspoken, but that's also how Candace is too. So I think that that's kind of pointed people away from her, because if they know her, they know that she's one of the more outspoken housewives. So I feel like and she also speaks up at the round tables too.
Yeah. I think she's also been very
doesn't really.
Yeah. No, she's been very, very like outspoken, like in a faithful way as well, which I think is like, there's like a faithful way to like kind of, be loud, and there's like a traitor way to be loud.
Yeah.
Where like, you know, compared to like a Boston Rob, for instance, who was like who was loud in a very traitor way, which is why he ended up getting, you know, sussed out. Whereas like Candace is speaking out in situations where like it doesn't really make sense for a traitor to speak out from like a strategic standpoint if you have all the information. Like for instance, defending Tiffany and like, you know, voting against the majority with the Tiffany banishment, I think was like a really. I think she probably did it for, you know, human or personal reasons, but I think from a strategic lens, it also makes her look more like a faithful, because if she has all of the information as a traitor and knows that the vote is between faithfuls anyways, and that like everyone's piling on Tiffany as a faithful, there's not really any like logical reason why you would, you know, defend her and like, you know, give her a pity vote and stuff like that, because it just kind of draws attention to yourself.
Right.
So
right.
I feel like that
she's
like
been
kind of
staying on her Ron grind this whole time, which I think it's better for her to stay consistent too. So
yeah, and that was like so some like light like celebrity UK Traitors spoilers, but that was like a strategy also that was used by one of the traders on that, who was Kat, where she was like hard stuck on Stephen Merchant, who was like the leader of the faithfuls, but also had like some light traitor sus on him, and her the entire time was like on this one like line of reasoning, like I think it's either Stephen or one of the other traders, because that kind of gave her some wiggle room to like look like a faithful, and that allowed her to get pretty deep into the game. And then, you know, she had other issues with her game that got her caught, but like that's kind of like, I think, not a bad, at least like first half of the game strategy as a trader.
right, at least until Ron is gone, because then she can't really play that card anymore. But I feel like her being like, Ron, you know why I'm sticking to my gut, then I feel like people are going to like pay attention to her less if she's just sticking to her guns instead of like flipping the switch and like making people be like, oh, why did Candace do that? That's weird. Yeah. So I think it's smart.
It's so crazy how they treat Ron. Where like he got one thing wrong one time and he's like persona non grata, but like Colton can get two people wrong in a row, and like everyone's like, all right, well, you're out there trying.
Yeah.
You know,
again, it's like the sheep. He's the shepherd.
Yep. Yeah, it's
but,
just weird. I did enjoy his back and forth with Dorinda in this episode, when she's like, you know, you don't ask about my family. He's like, I don't care about your family.
Yeah. It's like, ouch, awesome. Ron. But like that, like he's one of those people now where I feel like he's more of a distraction. So I feel like they're just gonna keep him around at this point.
Yeah.
So. And he's not really doing anything wrong. Like, I mean, he is, but like he's just not speaking up until the round tables, and he's keeping to himself, but he's also being a little shady. So, and he's not getting to know Dorinda's family, you know. Like,
but I mean, that's also the thing too. Now that he survived kind of so long, like based off of nothing that he's done and just kind of like random circumstance pushing other people under the bus before him, like at a certain point, because he seems so like mentally checked out of the game, that like almost makes him look more faithful than all of the things he's been trying to do to make himself look faithful, that have just made people annoyed with him and like call him like a self-pityr or like whatever. If he just like continues to like act kind of mentally checked out, like no traitor would be mentally checked out. It doesn't really make sense because they have the position of power. Right. Like they can always have like the ability to make plays, whereas like if you're a faithful who is just like perma-sussed and like you can't really make any social bonds, and then you become kind of mentally checked out, that kind of like makes a little more sense. So I think he might actually end up surviving like way deeper than I would have thought, you know, a week ago.
Right. And if he does, then I think it's going to put more red flags on him. Like, oh, why is Ron still here? So I think it might be good for the Traitors if he sticks around a little longer. So,
yeah.
But going to the challenge, we didn't find out who if anyone got a shield yet, right? Okay.
No, they kind of left that. Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
The big one is Colton, right? And he had
Mhm.
2 traitors in his group. So it's like they're gonna know if
Yes.
Colton took a shield.
And they said that they didn't take one, and that was the one where all 4 of them had to take it, right?
Yes.
So if they didn't take it, then he definitely doesn't have one.
Yeah.
So
So that's really the big lingering question right now.
Mhm.
Did Colton get a shield? If so, they're gonna murder somebody else. Maybe that's
Mhm.
like a fake out the show's gonna do.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they said that if nobody takes a shield, then there's no murder. So
Mhm.
I'm wondering if
Someone took
Alan's
a
gonna.
shield.
Yeah,
Someone definitely
probably.
took a shield.
Probably.
Well, the only
But
other,
it's like,
the only other group we saw that was thinking was, I think, Natalie's group, right?
Mhm.
I could see her taking one though.
Yeah. So I think that's more of the thing. Like, they know that Colton doesn't have a shield, but if Natalie's group also didn't take a shield, that means that hypothetically nobody took one, and then the murder is canceled. But they don't
Right.
know that the murder is canceled until
Right.
the morning. So it's less like, did Colton take a shield, and more so, was the murder canceled or not?
Yeah, I wonder if Alan's gonna come up into the turret if it is canceled and be like, the murder is canceled tonight, or if he's gonna tell them in the morning.
I think it'd be great to, like, if they did murder Colton, but it was canceled, have everyone
Yeah.
come in except for him,
Mhm.
and have them all think that Colton's murdered, and then he comes in afterwards as the last one in. That'd be
Right.
fun.
I mean, as a faithfuls, like that would like I was trying to wrap my brain as to like why they would take a shield if everybody could get on the same page and agree to not take one and then everyone's safe. But then again, I think people have trust issues and they want to fend for themselves and they want to know that they are safe. They don't care if anyone else is safe. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, why can't we all just get on the same page? Like, like,
Yeah.
like
At
it's
least
not
in
it's not
Candace,
easy
they
to
should
just
have
not
been.
take one. And if you don't
Yeah.
take one, then everyone's safe. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me. But if the traitors
Yeah.
were trying to be messy and then they took them, then
They should
could
have at
murder.
least been trying to convince Colton that he's in trouble to take
Mhm.
one if they wanted to do a murder. That
Mhm.
wasn't Colton.
Right. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that they're able to do it. But I could see, I mean, yeah, Natalie's group was the only other group that they showed with them. So I could see someone from that group potentially taking one. But that's just kind of stupid if like you're the one person that took a shield and then you're responsible for someone's murder. But
It wouldn't
yeah.
bother me, to be
I
honest.
thought the role, yeah, no. I mean, because like they want to chop the numbers down a little bit. So it's like it makes sense for them to not have a safe night yet.
The hard part about it is, like, there should have been some privacy on taking the shield. Because like the whole thing is like, well, are you gonna look out for yourself or for the whole group? Do you trust the whole group? And if there are people watching you, it's like, well, there's the social consequences of people ratting me out that would also make me not want to take a shield. Whereas, like, if it's a private thing, I might take the shield and protect myself.
Right.
You know?
Like if my name wasn't going to be put on blast, I would totally take it just to be
exactly.
sure. But or even if the traitors took it just to ensure that they could murder someone else.
Well, that's kind of what people were saying right to start, right before they went to, which is like, it doesn't make sense for a faithful to take one. Like, if you take one, then everyone's going to think you're a traitor because it makes sense for the traitors too. But like, it also does make sense for the faithfuls too. Like we said, like whittling down the numbers is good. Like if a murder getting canceled is only good if you were the one who was going to get murdered. Like you want murders to happen even as a faithful because it makes there'll be less players in the game.
Yeah.
Like the only reason that murders are bad as a faithful is because you're in danger. If you're safe, murders are good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Which also kind of goes back to getting the shield. It's like if you have a shield, then you want someone else gone because you're safe. But if everyone's safe, then everyone's safe. But it's kind of like a bittersweet situation. And I mean, I thought it was interesting how they went about it. But have they done it like that before?
I don't know if they've done it exactly like this. I think they've done various kind of prisoner dilemma style situations, but I think not exactly like this. They've done it. I've actually really enjoyed the missions this season so far. They've kind of done a very good job of like injecting kind of social strategy into the way that the shields get passed out, and it not just being kind of like random or who does best for the challenge or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's been fun. I loved the blood fountain. That was so fun.
Yeah.
The aesthetics have also been really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alan's fit from that challenge. I made it the thumbnail just because it went so hard.
I want to buy that shirt. Like
they better, Peacock better have that in their store like today, because that would be a great shirt.
He came out biceps out and everything, just murder. But yeah. And then I thought, kind of going back to the breakfast of it all, I think everyone was like, thank God Lisa knew what the situation looked like and everything, and like she described it perfectly, and because everybody was like grilling every person that was tied to a tree. They were like, and what else? And what now? And what happened after that? Like, chill.
Yeah.
That's all they got. They don't have anything else to.
They don't. And Ron messed up too. He didn't talk about the guy with the axe.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. It's a pretty big detail, I said,
Apparently, I didn't even remember seeing the guy with the axe. And then when they replayed the clip, I was like, oh, there was a guy with an axe. Cool.
Yeah. Obviously, like the social strategy and just like game fan of me is like, all right, let's get some new roles for some people to play. But I don't know if that's like too much for a casual audience to like keep up with. What do you guys think?
I think that like they could probably add like, I would say like the easiest roles to hypothetically add would be like an investigator and a medic from like a mafia and werewolf perspective. Like those were, I would say, like
I like you can add like if the police officer has like the ability to kill somebody would also be good, because then they could kill a faithful on accident, and then it's like, oh, the traitors did a double killer, or like something like that.
Oh darn.
Yeah, it could be an interesting way for like people to accidentally screw themselves over, like put more into the game. But yeah, I do think we need to get some new roles into the Traitors after 4 seasons,
Right. And do you think that if they did something like that and someone got out a traitor, that they would have to tell them that they were a traitor? Like if it was like a murder in plain sight and they picked a traitor?
Yeah, something. Yeah, it'd be like the police officer decided to use one of their 2 bullets and he killed this person, and then Alan can be like, that person was a traitor or not. But they still don't know who the police officer is.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Could be another traitor.
That'd be a double roll. That'd be crazy.
Taking each other out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I know people have bandied around like adding more mafia roles to the traitors, and like I don't know. I think that the fundamental issue is mafia / werewolf is at its core a team game, right? Like it's the town versus the mafia. It's like, the citizens versus the werewolves or whatever, the humans versus the werewolves. So like you're incentivized to play for the team in those games, whereas in the Traitors, there's like the aesthetics of it being a team game, but like even if a faithful wins at the end, only the faithfuls that are remaining are getting money. Like, all the faithfuls that got banished and murdered before get nothing. So like it's a really low incentive as like a faithful with a role to like use it in a non-selfish way.
Definitely.
Yeah. Even like we even saw Suri like cut her own traitors, like she was like, I want the money for myself. So yeah, it is kind of different in that aspect for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a chance to take it for yourself, take it for yourself.
Oh yeah, no, totally agree.
And that season was so different too, but they were working out the kinks.
Yeah, finding it.
But Sri got a W, so it's all good.
Yeah, solid matter.
I do think that like every like slight game variation they've made for the most part has improved the game. I think that like after like a few seasons they stopped telling them about whether they were a traitor or not in the end game, because I think that was something that was broken in the first couple seasons. There's a couple of things that they've done to improve. So I at the very least have faith that like any kind of game mechanic tweaks they make will be good, because they've been good so far.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what they do for the civilian season 2. I'm still waiting to hear back from them. I'm not salty about it, but I think because it also kind of ties in back to us being, talking about Lisa not being her full Lisa, whereas like with the civilian show, like none of them are going to know each other. And so they're not going to know if someone's acting different than they usually act in the public and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see kind of what they do for that season and kind of how it compares.
Yeah, you think people are grasping at straws to assign blame now. Just wait until no one knows each other at all.
Literally. And you're trying to be like, oh, this person's shady, when they're actually just severely shy.
Right.
So,
yeah.
When they actually have like a crippling social anxiety and you're just like trying to talk to them and you're like, this person's shady.
I mean, that's kind of what happened with Donna, even though she was a traitor.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still on the theory of like her just being there to be there, and then they knew that she
being a celebrity Big Brother Scaramucci situation.
Man. Well, anything else that we didn't get to touch on that you guys want to?
I think that was it. I think we hit all the big marks for these episodes, and now it's down to 1 episode a week now, right?
Yes. Going to 1.
And we've got what, like 10 more episodes, 9 more episodes?
I think it's 12 plus the reunion, but the 12 and the reunion are the same day.
Right.
So 7, I think, more.
7, okay.
Weeks.
Cool. And then Survivor will start. Should be exciting. Julia, anything you want to promote or get out of here?
Yeah, actually, me and a couple of my girlfriends just launched our new podcast this week. It's called The Sure Thing, and you can find it on Spotify.
Yeah, send me the link. I'll put it in the description. So go check that out. Ben, anything you want to promote?
No, I mean, just me, Brian, and Dylan did just do our, speaking of Survivor, we did our Survivor 50 draft. We drafted the entire 24-person cast, 8 people apiece. And it was
very fun.
It was a lot of fun. I'm
do you guys normally do that?
No.
Oh.
Cool. Dylan really wanted to for this year. So yeah, all credit to Dylan on that one for making it happen. It was a really good time. Go check it out if you haven't already.
Yep. And he'll be back with us next week, hopefully. So
yeah, Dylan has a busy life.
Yeah.
Kids and all kinds of responsibilities. So
I'm severely unbusy. So
so yeah, other than that, check out the main channel, Wicked Everything. Our other channels, Those Fake Nerds and Wicked Sports. And then Ryan and I just put out a new episode of our Game of Thrones podcast covering the premiere of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is very fun. And yeah, we will see you in the next one.